There's many a day when I woke up and thought, what did I marry her for? It's all my excitable knitting pressure points.
Oh, right. I don't know what it is. There's not a lot of mincemeat in this one. It's mainly... No. Well, it can't be D. That's ridiculous.
Quite like it. What do you like about it? Badger face.
That doesn't look like a badger.
But that is a badger face.
Well, it doesn't look like a badger.
I'm not disputing that fact. Pureed cucumber tastes like pureed cucumber.
Oh, that's the best thing I've ever seen.
I told you.
Oh my gosh. Well, you've heard.
So,
Well done, that was excellent. Shall I go for a noop? Look, you all.
I thought you went before we started.
Christmas in the country.
Christmas in the country.
Can we
Of course I will. Hello! Welcome to episode 113 of the Bakery Bears.
I've got a ginormous mug of peppermint.
She does. Now, here at the Bakery Bears, we consider it a responsibility to try new things so we can let you know what they're like. Oh yes, that way then you will never make the same mistakes that we make.
Okay.
I can now tell you categorically that pureed cucumber tastes like pureed cucumber.
In that drink.
It's not nice.
Well, Dan's been buying these kind of healthy smoothie things, haven't you, recently? And the first one you bought was quite nice. It was like a purpley colour.
Yes, and I only bought them because they were on offer. I mean, I like to eat well, and you know, any opportunity to get more good stuff in, I take. And these were on offer in our local supermarket, so I thought I'd give them a go. And yes, you're right.
The purple one was nice.
Got that one twice.
Ah.
But then they stopped doing that one on offer, and
Right.
they put another one on offer.
Which
and
was green.
It was green, and do you know
I was
what?
a bit dubious about things that are drinks that are green.
Well, yeah, I am now. Bought it thinking, I didn't think cucumber. I thought cucumber would just be
As like an accent.
not even an accent. I didn't even consider it.
Right.
I was stupid.
What else was in it?
Kiwi and lime.
Oh, right. Kiwi.
Now I know
and lime.
kiwi you can't
I can't eat kiwi, no. My mouth swells up. I'm a bit like that with melon as well, so it must be the same thing.
Well, the hilarious thing I think about cucumber is I think it tastes like watermelon.
Right.
Do you know?
Well, they might be kind of related, might they? Because they're a similar sort of thing if you think about it.
On the outside and on the inside with the
Seeds
seeds.
on the- yeah.
Well, so you saying kiwi and it having the same effect on you as you can sort of see now why perhaps they put this combination together. Maybe they were thinking, oh, you know,
I thought the lime might have cut
so
through
did
the.
I thought this is going to be great because I really like citrus fruits. So you know, I love orange juice, and you know, I really like that.
You like
that grapefruit
grapefruits?
sometimes. Grapefruit on a morning, it's like being slapped in the face.
I can't stand grapefruit. It's too. Oh.
If you need waking up on a morning, seriously, you have a really potent grapefruit juice. It is like, ooh, it's similar to the experience that you get when you use that mint, the mint shower gel. So anyway, got this drink. I poured it out, I drank it, and I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever drunk.
Did you finish it?
I did.
Oh.
Now, something very exciting has happened in the last 2 weeks. I've realised why I married Kay.
Right.
It's taken me all
I'm
these...
a bit worried about what he's going to say.
It's taken me all these years. There's many a day when I woke up and thought, what did I marry her for? You think that every hour. What did I marry her for?
Kind of, yeah.
Now, if I was to say to you, let's just take a straw poll. It's a shame we can't do this because it'd be interesting to see what people would come back and say. But I'd like you to guess what music Kay likes.
Ah.
And what I want you to guess is, you know, the music that really gets her going. You know, that she really loves. What do you think? I reckon there'll be some people out there saying Duran Duran.
Yeah, very possibly.
I think there'll be some people out there maybe saying, considering some of the things we've said, over recent months, maybe Josh Groban. Some people may be saying Greatest Showman soundtrack.
Very possibly.
Who knows?
I have a very eclectic taste in music.
Let me tell you, you're all wrong. You're all completely wrong. You are too. I'm not messing. And this is, do you know what? It's been a revelation for me. And it's a revelation for me because when I was in education, when I was going through, when I was learning to be a musician, one of the things which musicians used to ask each other was, what is your favourite Queen song? And if you were to say anything really after 1980, they'd go, oh. If you were to say anything before 1980, they'd go, oh. And if you said anything from Queen 1 or Queen 2, they would get very excited. So you imagine my surprise and my joy at finding out that Kay's favourite Queen song is not only from Queen 1, the first album they ever brought out, it's the first track.
Is it really the first track? I didn't know.
It's the first track on Queen 1.
Wow.
Keep Yourself Alive.
Amazing.
But to be honest, she likes anything from early Queen.
I do.
And
Yeah.
that makes me happy. It genuinely makes me love her more.
We went to see Bohemian Rhapsody.
It's wonderful.
Is where this came from, and it was amazing.
It's wonderful.
It was amazing.
Yeah, Kay came out and Kay said, I was really struggling not to cry. I said, what do you mean struggling? I was crying like a baby.
At the end, because
all the way through I was.
Yeah, it covers their lives from like 1970 when the band formed. It was 1970, wasn't it? Through to Live Aid, 1985. So it ended with the Live Aid concert. Oh, the way that they'd filmed that.
Well, it's perfect.
It was unbelievable.
It was.
And anybody who remembers watching it at the time, you will just, that's what was making us emotional because it was just spot on,
Oh, it was.
His performance, it's Rami Malek, isn't it? I've probably said that wrong.
To be fair, though, all of them.
All of them. The man who played Brian May was Brian May.
Well,
he was
equally John Deacon.
They were all.
I mean, he looked worryingly like John Deacon.
They were all just spot on.
And those of you who've seen Bohemian Rhapsody, or maybe you haven't seen it, I think you'll still be interested in this. Do you remember Jurassic Park? Do you remember Timmy from Jurassic Park? Well, he's John Deacon.
Yeah. The little boy
He's
from
grown
Jurassic
up.
Park. And I didn't realise that till afterwards. I was like, oh, gosh.
I know. Would you believe it?
And we want to go
The
see
thing
it
you
again.
really didn't realise, and you kept looking at it going, no, it can't be, it can't be. Mike Myers from Wayne's World plays this character.
Was in it.
You know what he's like with dressing up and it not looking like him and putting on accents.
I knew it was him because Dana told me which character he was playing. I couldn't see him. I couldn't see Mike Myers in this character at all. It was
amazing.
just amazing.
What it's done for me, and this, do you know what? This has never happened to me before my whole life. Because Queen has always been there, hasn't it? Queen,
Yeah. I think you kind of take it for granted, don't you?
You do. One of the first songs I ever, I pulled out Queen's Greatest Hits, the black record, put it on the record player and turned it up full and played Fat Bottom Girls. And I remember doing that over and over again. And I did that, actually, before I was going down the dark path of listening to Dire Straits, Money for Nothing, which I'm very, very thankful for.
I quite like Dire Straits.
I know you do.
Well.
I know you do. That's fine.
I told you my taste is
I don't
eclectic.
even want to talk about that Romeo and Juliet song.
Oh, I like that one.
I don't even want to go
like
there.
it.
Yes, we know this. I'll be honest, I've always taken them for granted. I've always listened to their music, always, but the songs have come on and I haven't really listened to them. And what going to see Bohemian Rhapsody was, it made me really listen to them.
Yeah.
And also it makes you realise the backstory behind all these songs.
Yeah.
And there is a backstory.
There is a backstory.
And it's a big one.
It's really fascinating watching it. And what an amazing man Freddie Mercury was. I mean,
The competition,
goodness.
honestly, the competition for the greatest band and the greatest frontman begins and ends with Queen.
him.
It does. Just go and watch. Go and watch. I don't necessarily mean Bohemian Rhapsody. You can buy. We got a concert. It's their only ever live concert. It's called Rock Montreal. You just watch that concert, and it's his voice.
His voice is just...
It's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But then,
amazing
when they sing
voice.
Together...
The range he's got is unbelievable.
When they sing together...
The harmonies
When they sing together, it's insane.
Yeah. We want to go see it again, the film, don't we?
We absolutely do. It's just,
It was brilliant.
It really was. Now,
I loved it.
do you feel in the air a certain frisson of excitement?
It's a bit chilly, I don't know.
Well, that perhaps adds to the frisson.
Right.
And some of you may have noticed in the outtakes at the start some strange things going on.
Indeed.
Some things which you wouldn't normally expect to see in the outtakes at the start of the show. Well, I wonder what it could be. Oh my goodness, it's nearly Christmas.
So you know what that means.
Yes, we're back, and this year it's time for us to hit the road. Every Christmas, millions of people across the world go in search of family. For some, it's just down the road, but for others like us, it's hundreds of miles away. So this year, it's time for us to plan and execute
The perfect Christmas away from home.
We're going to need to remember to take all the things that make Christmas special for us. And we need to find the perfect gift for our hosts, Nana Wendy and Grandpa Steve.
So join us every day from the 1st of December right up until Christmas Eve.
We'll be making decorations, visiting churches, taste testing mince pies, and so much more.
There's nothing simple and elegant about this.
It's like a disco ball. As we get ready for Christmas in the country.
So don't miss it. We'll see you on the 1st of December for 24 days of festive fun.
It's that time of year.
Look, I was already excited. And now I'm even more excited.
We're very excited. We've been out filming.
Only a few days to go. Oh my goodness.
I
And
can't believe that until it's day one.
I know,
That's
I know,
amazing.
don't even.
Time, poor. Dearie me.
oh my goodness, it's been the most fun. It really has. You know, we had
It has been real. We had fun planning it all, didn't we?
great fun planning. We had a couple of days filming already,
Yeah,
and then there's going to be lots more, you know, scattered through the run up to Christmas, and all building up towards
Christmas in the country.
Oh yes, my goodness! And do you know what? How many of you? I'd love to know. How many of you are travelling at Christmas? In fact, we have.
Put your hand up if
Yes,
you're
yes.
travelling at Christmas, and we'll see you all.
We have a Patreon-only podcast coming out on Sunday.
We do,
And
this
I'm going to
Sunday.
make this, as long as you agree, we'll make this, I think, one of our segments. I'd love to know if you're travelling at Christmas
Yeah.
and where you're going.
Yeah.
But do feel free,
Let us know on the
Patreon-only podcast, let's have a chat about it, because I'd love to know. You know, we can talk about, we'll tell you more about where we're going and what we're doing.
Yeah.
But also, you know, if you're watching now, do share in the show notes below. What are you doing this Christmas? Are you going away? Are you travelling? Are you staying at home?
staying
Like we
at
did
home?
last year?
Yeah, we did last year.
So if you want to find out more about our advent calendar, you can follow the link in the show notes below, and you can see the trailer all over again. You can watch it as many times as you like if you want to get lots of exciting Christmas hits.
Yeah.
And 1st of December it will start.
Yeah.
And we cannot
Very
wait.
excited.
I know. What does the advent calendar culminate in? The launch of the Platinum Collection
Yes.
2019.
Oh my goodness, Christmas Eve. All of our lovely patrons will receive.
And remember, it's everyone who is a patron. That's everyone.
Everyone gets this.
Who is a patron?
This pattern
on New Year's Eve, on Christmas Eve, gets the first platinum pattern.
Yeah.
And they're normally only available, like, last year's platinum patterns, only available to gold and platinum patrons.
Yeah.
So it's a great little present.
And I'm so thrilled with the. Thrilled with the design, the pattern. It's just lovely and so festive.
Yes.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So I'm sure you all will too.
The reason why I'm already thinking about 2019 and I'm excited about 2019, I can't say too much, but she plucks from nowhere the idea for just the most stupendous new slice of the Bakery Bears coming in, I think it's episode 117. We start the year with our Knitting Horizons.
Yeah.
Which is going to be we're going to actually make that our review of the year. So we'll be talking about our Knitting Horizons, but we'll also be talking our top 5 books of the year, top 5 films of the year.
Yeah.
But then the episode after that, Kay's geniusness will blossom and will take us on a journey for all to enjoy as we then get through to the Pudding Club and New Adventures in March.
Yeah.
She's wonderful. And on that happy note, I think it's time that we find out, and it's a very exciting moment. Oh, yes. It's time that we found out. Kay Jones, what's on your needles?
It is very exciting because I am knitting another sample of the third and final pattern.
You're not.
I am.
You're not.
In my Miss Potter Sock Club.
Oh my goodness.
The final pattern came out today. So all of you lovely people who
Sorry.
Well done, that was excellent. You're a drummer, you could have done better than that.
I was a trumpeter though too.
All of you lovely people who purchased the club will have received the third pattern in your Ravelry libraries. There's updates, so go over there if you've not had a look already and download the pattern. So the third pattern in the club was based on Thomasina Tittlemaus. It's been fun seeing people kind of guess who the third character will be. And I think a lot of people thought...
Mrs. Tiggerwinkle?
Thank you. Mrs. Tiggerwinkle. And a few other kind of guesses. But no, it's Thomasina Tittlemaus was the inspiration. And there's a little painting up here that I did. There's little Thomasina. And a cute little ladybug. Because if you know the story of Thomasina, you'll understand the ladybird. We say ladybird actually in this country. But if you don't, the story basically is lovely Thomasina. What?
Well, I was searching for my fifth needle.
It's stuck into your work. Thomasina is a very neat and tidy little Tittlemaus, and she loves her. I like saying Tittlemaus.
I bet you do.
She loves to keep her home spick and span and just perfectly neat and tidy. And then one day it kind of gets invaded by all these insects, and they're all putting muddy footprints everywhere and messing everywhere up. So she's running around frantically, just like cleaning up after them and trying to keep all her little rooms neat and tidy. She lives in like underneath a hedge, and there's lots of like little burrows, It's like a little warren where she lives. So the idea of that came to me of the pattern of I wanted it to reflect her kind of scurrying to and fro. So very kind of frantic to and fro like this all the time, and just wanting everything to be neat and tidy. And that's where, the inspiration came from. So it's definitely these. There's 2 of them. So these are the socks that I knit up, as the first sort of sample. I'll show you the others in a second. I used yarn from lovely Kelly, from Kelly Lay.
Featured in the next issue.
She is.
In the Christmas special issue, which pulling together as we speak, and it's going to be an absolute corker.
Yes.
But Kelly is our Meet the Vendor.
But I used a colourway which was called Crab Apple and Bramble Jam. And that, again, just made me think of hedgerows and, where Miss Tittlemaus lives under the hedgerows. And it's just this beautiful speckly colour of like browns, hints of like, you know, the brambly colour, that purpley colour, bits of pink. Just lovely, really, really lovely. And it knit up into these lovely socks. Now it might be tricky to see, I'll hold one a bit closer, but there's a texture on the socks, and the texture is a twisted texture. If I hold them really close, there you go. You can sort of see the stocking stitch down here, and then the pretty texture that you've got up here. And then the cuff also has some twists in it. It's not a fully twisted stitch cuff, but it does have twists in it, and I really love how it looks. If you look on the pattern pages, there'll be close-ups of it.
Ooh,
but it's just so pretty.
That's different.
Yeah, it just produces such a pretty rib. And I knit these when we were on holiday in the summer in the Lake District. And the idea for these came to me then, and I took the yarn away with me, and really this was all I knit on the whole time we were there, and I just loved them, and they've got such happy memories associated with the socks, because I was just so relaxed when I was knitting them, and it is a really relaxing knit.
Thomasina's the mother of the whole club, isn't she really?
Yeah, she is, because it started, this is what started it, and I was going to put Thomasina out as the first pattern. And then because this one was kind of felt so special, because this was where the idea for everything came from, I thought, no, I'm going to save that one till last. We've got the twisted pattern on the running down the sock, and then I've put in again on this one my umbrella toe, and we've just got a lovely slip stitch heel and square heel turn. So on the second pattern I had a rounded toe. The first pattern had the umbrella toe, the second pattern had a rounded toe, wedge rounded toe, and the third one I've gone back to my favourite umbrella toe. This pattern will literally work with any yarn, absolutely any yarn.
Even like plain white?
Well, if you wanted, yes it would, it'd look lovely plain white if you wanted to knit plain white socks.
I bet it would actually.
It would. It's when it stretches on your foot, if I stretch it out a bit, it's then that you can see the lovely zigzaggy sort of texture. So pretty, and it's nice and grippy on your foot as well. If you've got a skein of really madly variegated yarn that you haven't got a clue what pattern would work with it apart from just a plain sock, this will be perfect. It adds to it. The more variegated it is, just enhances all those twists that you can see and the kind of zigzaggy thing that's going on. So dig out your skeins of super variegated yarn and it will be perfect for these. But what I fancied doing was trying it in a self-striping. This is Kelly's yarn again. It's in her self-striping and it's Magnolia is the colourway. This one is 80-20. So it's a higher twist than the other one. And I wanted to see how that looked too. The extra twist really enhances the twisted stitches, which of course that makes perfect sense. So this is the first one. So again, if I sort of hold it, you should be able to see the difference between like the plain stocking stitch here and then this lovely twist, there you go, the lovely twisted sort of texture that's showing. You can see the rib a bit better on this one, look. It's so pretty and you can see the texture there as well. And then the heel and the toe on this one, I just used some of my own hand-dyed in a similar base. This is a BFL, but it's very, very similar. It's a 2-ply, super high twisted. So I just used this silvery grey, which I thought went really well with the colours in the striping yarn. I love this speckly bit, it's just my favourite. Kelly, I would love a whole skein of yarn in this speckly bit. I think it's beautiful. So I've cast on the second one and I've just started the cuff, as you can see, and I deliberately wound off a little bit so that they wouldn't match, because I prefer them not to match. I find it a bit more interesting knitting the second sock if it's not exactly the same as the first one. So you can see here I'm starting with this lovely sort of caramelly colour, and that one's down here, so I'm a few stripes out. Just so nice. I can't wait to wear these. I was just saying to Dan, now that the collection's finished, I can kind of wear all these socks, but I'm not sure I want to, really. So that's Thomasina. So that's all, that's the club finished now. All of the patterns are out, which seems kind of sad. I'm happy that everybody seems to have enjoyed it so much, but likewise, I'm kind of sad that excitement's over, but I will, you know, a lot of people have said to me, would you do that again? Would you do another sort of round 2 of the club? And I would definitely say it's certainly a possibility for, you know, for next year sometime. So yeah, that's the club all finished. And there are all the socks. That's a very satisfying feeling. I've had them all stacked up like that on my work desk for ages now, you know, as the club's been going along, and it's just lovely to see them all. It's lovely to have this stack of socks like this, you know. This is what I've said, I kind of want to just keep them like this and not wear them, but we'll see. So there we go, that's Thomasina that I'm working on. So I'm going to carry on working on the second sock, hopefully have that finished for the next episode. Dan Jones,
Yes.
What's on your needles?
Well, it's a revelation.
I just wonder if one of the reasons why I haven't liked socks is because of the slip stitch edging.
You don't like picking up, or you don't like doing it, and don't like how it looks. What? I was giving you lots of options there.
Well, I might have a bite of all of those options.
Right.
And then I knit a pair of Mine's Everyday socks, which had a garter stitch edge, and I just had the most stressful experience trying to pick up from the garter stitch edge. So I was really angry about that. And
I remember
like,
at the time you were... Yeah.
That's like, I'm never doing that again. That's just awful. Well, I did it again because I'm knitting the Jemima socks and there's a garter stitch edge. And Kay, I filmed the tutorial, so you'd think I should know. But I'm not thinking about what you're teaching when you're doing that. I'm thinking about the lighting and the focus and all of that. So I don't get the... So I watched it back just last night. Oh my goodness. It's an absolute revelation. It's a revelation.
You did it, didn't you?
It's like way easier than any other. It's just way easier. You know, if you think I did all those different socks in the Dan Laura project. So I've done lots of different types of heels.
Did you never do a garter edged one? Oh, right.
The first time I did a garter edge one was
Hermione's.
Yes. And I just didn't know how to pick it up.
I think the problem with it is that you're never really sure where you need to pick up.
It's a totally different...
And once you know where you're supposed to be
Then it's
picking
easy.
up, it's really easy. Yeah.
It's just a totally different thing. You know, when I picked it up before, I was going through,
right.
not up.
Right, okay. Right. All right.
It's just perfect. I mean, I cannot
lovely.
begin to tell you how much fun that actually was. Now, I'm still not a sock knitter, but I'm definitely...
That pink's amazing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
now, I was going to talk about...
It's like a pinky purple.
I was going to talk about the yarn a little bit. It's, of course, Nicole C. Mendes yarn. The colourway is Disco. See, look, I'm getting like Kay.
What?
Well, I never do that. I've just done that.
Oh, people like to see what it is.
I'm not disputing it. Why do you think I just did it?
It's beautiful.
Because I'm a good boy.
It's just so bright.
Why is the yarn so good? Well, the reason why I really like the yarn is I was just knitting with it then, and I was just comparing it directly to my experiences recently with Opal, for example. What I love about this is it seems to give.
It's got a lot of bounce, hasn't it?
It bends and twists and gives and
really
feels
bouncy
natural.
yarn, yeah.
Whereas the Opal,
It can feel a bit stringy. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, it's stringy.
I do get that.
I'm feeling like I'm having
Sometimes
to work.
it's not. Sometimes it is with the Opal.
Right.
I find anyway.
I felt like I've had to work much harder. My hands don't feel as worked out using this yarn, you know, because it's got a bit of bounce, because it's got a bit of give. I suspect it's similar to the difference between using wood needles and using metal needles.
Yeah.
Wood needles will give a bit,
Have
and it's a
some give.
living thing.
Yeah.
It's easier in your hands to hold. Now, you know, I'm sat here holding a metal needle. The reason why I have to use metal needle is because of how tight I knit.
You'd just break them.
I'd break them or bite into them, so it just doesn't work. But the other thing about this pattern that I must say is, for the first couple of repeats of the pearls, it was hard work.
Yeah.
But then it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's like it went from hard work to not hard work at all. And I think one of the things which I think we all have a tendency to do is to avoid working hard in our knitting sometimes.
Yeah.
And, you know, actually, sometimes it's a really, really good thing to do, because historically, I haven't particularly enjoyed purling, hence the reason why I always knit things
In the round.
in the round. Well, I've changed, my opinion is changing. I'm probably a little bit away from saying, right, I'll knit something flat.
Ah, that's a shame.
My opinion on purling has definitely changed. And, at the end of the day with knitting, it's not like there's a lot of stitches, is there?
Knits and purls and that's it.
And if you neglect one of those stitches, it's like you're shutting off half the knitting world to you.
Well, kind of. I think I understand why people are averse to it because it's slower to purl, isn't it? And I'm slower purling than knitting, but it doesn't bother me to purl.
No.
But I know some people who they would just don't want to purl.
Yeah.
And I think that really, I don't get that. Personally, I don't get that. But everybody is different, aren't they? Everybody's different and you just have to find things that you enjoy. But I would certainly say just give it, if you haven't tried a project where there's lots of purling, maybe just give it a go because it might be like Dan said, but once you've done it a bit, because if you think about it, when we all first started knitting, it probably felt really weird to be knitting.
Yeah.
And I think it's only because you knit a lot more than you purl. And especially if you grow up in a country maybe that does knit a lot of things in the round, where there's not a lot of purling going on, that it does feel a bit weird when you have to purl.
Yeah. Do you know what? I love it. I really love it.
I love that pattern.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's really... And by having some purl stitches in there, that's what creates that really, really squishy fabric.
Yeah. Also, as well, I think what it creates is a really interesting looking fabric. Anyway.
Definitely.
Enough of that.
Excellent. And the contrast, actually, we must just say the contrast yarn that you're using is also Nicole C. Mendez. I asked Nicole if she would dye me up just a plain pale grey that I could use for contrasts, and she very kindly sent me this skein and called it Foggy Morning, which I think is adorable because we get lots of those, and it is just this lovely pale grey that goes with everything, so I'll use this for any of Nicole's yarns that I use. I'll pop this in the heel. Exactly the same base again. It's the soft sock, which is miraculous. We love it.
Yes.
We're huge fans.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, Jones, what else is on your needles?
This is the hat that I was working on last time. I'm umming and ahhing with it. And the reason I'm umming and ahhing is I'm not sure if the contrast is high enough with the yarns that I'm using. So it's the Alaska hat. Beautiful Colorwork hat, knitting fingering weight yarn, and if you remember I was using these two yarns. I'm using the Regia Merino Yak in this beautiful kind of natural colour, and then I'm using Lang Millicolory Baby.
What else have you used that for?
Nothing.
Oh, I just seem to remember hearing you say those words.
No, I
before.
bought it with the intention of making something. I can't remember what.
That'll be what I remember.
But then didn't.
Okay.
Clearly. Yeah. That's the colour that I'm using of the Lang. And I've knit quite a bit, but I can't see the trees. Can't see the wood for the trees. No, I can't see the trees for the wood. I think no. You can cut that if you want.
Why?
It sounded weird.
I'm not cutting it.
Okay. But look.
I always got that expression wrong.
Can't see the wood for the trees.
Yeah. I used to say you can't see the wood from the trees.
Can't see the wood from the trees.
Yeah. But yours makes more sense.
No, you can't see the wood for...
Yeah, because the
it's
trees
like
are in the
because
way.
of the trees.
Yes.
Yeah.
What an idiot. Like I used to say, path of the course.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything you used to say wrong? Would you like to tell us and share with us?
But look, if I try and stretch it out a bit, can you see what I mean? It just looks like a jumble of nothingness.
Let's have a look. Yeah, it does, yeah. Sorry,
And
I really wanted to say.
I kept going and I kept going, thinking I'll be able to see a bit more, I'll be able to see a bit more. And I just can't see the trees at all, And I think the problem is that my contrast, this is not high enough. It's not a high enough contrast. It needs as with the pattern, it needs a really dark colour or a really light colour. And I didn't have either of those. So I just thought maybe this will work. It's just not. And I knit for a good couple of hours on this last weekend.
What a pain.
And I know, and I eventually got to the point where I just thought, you know what, I'm going to stop because I don't want to invest any more time in this if I'm going to end up having to rip it out and,
sometimes you just
restart it. Yeah, and sometimes these things just don't work. I was really sad because it's such a pretty hat, but I'll need to find some yarns that are going to work because just but look, I mean, it's just nothing. It just looks like nothing. I can't see any trees at all coming through there. And I mean, I've never knit colourwork with fingering weight, and I think my tension would be okay. It's sort of uneven looking, but it's not particularly bunchy. You know, it's not like my tension's been too tight on the floats.
Be alright with a block.
Yeah, and I think a block would have kind of evened out all that. And I just can't see the point really in investing all that time when it's not going to be right. So this is going to get frogged, unfortunately. But the yarn is...
Oh, no. It's the right thing to do.
I think it's the right thing
Definitely
to do.
Is. It's just a bit blur, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know, sometimes things work, don't they? And sometimes they don't. And
it's a sad day, but never be afraid to pull it out.
No, don't be afraid to pull it out. And I'm always really, really reluctant to pull anything out. I kind of think, you know, I've started this, I want to see it through to the end. But sometimes it just doesn't, for one reason or another, it just doesn't work, does it? And the time that we spend doing this lovely activity is precious, isn't it? And you want it to be...
All time is precious, Kate.
All time is precious, I know. But you just want to invest your time the most wisely, don't you, I guess, is what I want to say. But I absolutely love this Regia yarn. It's beautiful. It really, really is lovely. So that,
positive.
That's definitely a positive, and it's just gorgeous. And what I might do, you know, is I might just rip back to the rib and just maybe knit a plain hat or a stripy hat or something like that. The stitch count is perfect, you know, obviously for a hat. So I think that's what I'll do. I think I'll rip back to the rib and then just leave it on the needles, and then it's just something I can pick up, isn't it, when I just want something round and just maybe knit a plain hat, like I said, or add in a couple of stripes or something. But I will definitely knit this at some point because I think it's a lovely pattern.
Finished?
Yes.
Excellent. I'm a lover of four row repeats.
So am I. It's my favourite.
4 row repeats work.
That's my absolute favourite. When I can get a pattern, you know, that's 4 rows.
It's funny that because
I love it. It must just be...
How do you remember telephone numbers?
Yeah, in 4s.
Do you?
I think I do.
Because I used to remember... I can still remember my first ever telephone number, but I remember it in 3s.
Oh, in 3s? No, let me think... No, in 3s, you're right.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
It's 3s.
Because it seems to... Maybe it... Well, I don't know. Does it intonate itself better? 706 176. That was my first ever telephone number.
I was thinking of the telephone number for the Royal Bank in Sheffield.
How did you used to answer the phone when you were young? What were you told to say? Were you told to say anything?
No, I don't. I just think I just said hello.
We were taught how to answer the phone.
You have to. Did you say hello and then the number?
Yeah.
A lot of people did that.
Yeah. Hello, 706 176.
It'd be brilliant if we did that now. Can you imagine having to do that now with a mobile number?
Yeah, no, that's crazy. It's crazy. But isn't it nuts doing that? It's just so
those
funny.
were the days. We used to have a phone that hung on, that was like attached to the wall, one of the old-fashioned ones with the curly...
Yeah.
You know, and you took the thing off the top.
Yeah, so did we.
Yeah, did you?
Of course we did. Yeah, it's when it used to sit, it was like
And
it was
when
like
you put
square.
the thing back in the thing, it made a little dingy noise.
No, ours didn't actually. Ours didn't. But I remember that it had the presser thing, didn't it? That used to come up to.
Yeah.
That was really cool. But I remember once that it was a really bad storm outside. The telephone line got struck by lightning.
Oh God!
And I'm not joking you.
The phone exploded.
I'm not joking you. A spark came up the phone and it went poof.
Wow.
No, it didn't. Thankfully, it was Bakelite, so it didn't explode.
Bakelite. Wow, you should have kept that phone. It'd be worth a fortune.
I know. I remember once as well that my parents used to have nicknames for people, and I didn't know that it was bad. It wasn't bad, you know. There was no bad words or anything like that. But this particular guy phoned, and his nickname was this particular thing. And so I answered the phone, 706-176. Oh, hello, it's so-and-so. And I held the phone there, and I shouted at the top of my voice, Mum, said his nickname is on the phone. She's like, no. She goes,
I didn't know they called him that. Oh, no.
It's really funny.
What else is on your needles?
Well,
From one disastrous hat to
a triumph. A total triumph.
From the depths of despair
comes this piece of joyousness. I still need to look at your jobless cast on.
Oh, right. Okay.
I've got to do that.
Yeah.
I'm annoyed about this because it would make me happier about this project, but hey-ho. I'll sort it. I'll have a look. This is, without doubt, the hardest colour work I've ever done. I'm not complaining. It's absolutely great. But it's taken me a little bit longer because if you think, I've done a load of mon amis and I'd have reeled it off by now. But to be fair, the first time I knit a mon ami, I didn't reel it off straight away because you're learning the pattern. So I'm learning the pattern. So, I should cut myself a certain amount of slack. But if you look...
Oh, it looks great.
The repeat is long.
Yeah, it's quite random, isn't it? And quite scattered. It's not...
It might even be 20.
Gosh, is it really?
It's a really long repeat.
You could have put stitch markers in every repeat. That might have helped.
Well, I seem to be okay.
Right.
I seem to be okay. I've not had a problem yet.
No.
But what I'm really happy about is when I think about... that one's not brilliant. It's okay. But if you look at the straight bits there, but this side's way better. If you look at the straight one, there was some straight ones in the mon ami, and mine would either disappear or be so loose they'd be like sticking their heads out and going, well, these seem to be laying much, much flatter.
It's more consistent, isn't it?
It is. It's much more consistent. It's great fun. It's definitely up there, I think, with the same... In fact, it's more, because I understand and can do double knitting, this is more challenging. Just because of, having to... If you lose your place, you are done for, aren't you?
Kind of. Did we say what the pattern was?
No, I haven't. I was hoping people could guess. It's the to the top hat.
To the top hat.
Yes, I now am able to say it. Yeah, it's the to the top hat.
A Knit Picks pattern, a paid for pattern, isn't it, on Ravelry?
Yes.
From Knit Picks. To the top hat.
Yes. Oh, lovely. Well intonated.
Thank you very
much. I love that. To the top hat.
Dan's in this bit here.
Which bit? Where am I? Point. Let me see. I can't see.
It's hard to point diagonally.
Oh, yes.
You're here, aren't
you?
you?
Yes. Oh, I'm at the bottom of... I'm on one of those bits.
Yeah,
it's going to get really complex.
Well, it's not. You don't have to think of it that way. You're just following it line by line, aren't you?
That's true. That's absolutely true. But, I just think that sometimes it's bad to put pressure on yourself and to sort of think, I've got to do it. Do it when it feels right and stop when you feel you should stop.
Yeah, which is something I never do.
And I think that's the problem. That, I suspect, is the problem with so many people. I've written articles on this, in knitability, losing motivation, losing mojo. I suspect that certainly came for me when I was forcing myself to constantly knit socks. I got a lot from it, but you just lose the motivation to bother to do anything because you just think, I don't want to do that. So, I think I'm making much quicker progress on all my projects than I ever have. It's still not fast. I know it's not fast, but it's way quicker.
But it's not about speed, is it?
No, it isn't.
We've never been about...
No, of course it's not. I'm not trying to rush
churning
through
things out and get... I'm more of a person that likes to get things finished.
Yeah, whereas as we know, I'm not.
Whereas Dan's just not bothered. It'll be finished when it's finished, and he'll work on something, like he says, when he wants to work on it.
I won't hold off. Don't get me wrong, I don't hold off on projects because I don't want to finish them.
No, but it's whether you want to work on that particular project at the time, isn't it?
Yes.
I think if something was
structure.
like really close to being finished, you would pick it up if it was, even if it wasn't the first thing that you wanted to work on.
Yes.
Just so that you could get it, if it's really close to being finished.
Well, actually, that probably isn't true, because if that was the case, I'd have finished those socks.
Well, that's true. That lonely sock, how long has that been hung up there? And I said to him, I'm not going to move that sock.
You come back.
Finish that pair.
You come back next episode, and there'll be a lovely pair of prairie socks.
Socks have come and gone, and still that one
Well, don't you worry.
there.
Next time, that was a rhyme. Socks have come and gone, but still that one sits there. Oh, it does.
No, it doesn't.
It does. It does. It sounds like a lovely
Gone
sort of.
and there.
It sounds like a Keats. No. The rhyme came in the sentence before, which you haven't written yet.
What?
It's a Keats poem, Kay.
Right.
What else is on your
Goodness
needles?
me. I've got another sock on the go, and this is. Oh, well, I think this is very exciting. This has been very exciting for me to knit.
Excited face.
Is that your excited face?
Yeah.
And this is in one of my very favourite bags that I made ages ago. It's my Little House on the Prairie bag. It's just one of my very favourite bags with this lovely Laura Ingalls Wilder fabric. And in the lovely little bag is a sock, as I said, and I bought this yarn very recently, and actually I think I bought it arrived, and I think I cast this on the next day. I bought another skein of yarn from the same dye that I showed you on the last episode. This isn't that, this is a different colour, because she put up a picture of this, and I thought, oh my goodness, I need to have some of that. And it's from Liz at the Yarn Badger. And Liz is in Sheffield, which is my old hometown, so I was very drawn to it for that reason as well. And this colourway I'm knitting in is called Fallen Leaves.
It's also the town we dated in.
We did. Liz, if you're watching, yeah, that's the town we first dated in, even though we don't call it dating, do we really? We're going out. That's what we say. Are you going out with him?
I think I might have said dated.
I would never have said dated.
But you're from a different era to me.
Oh, thanks very much. So yeah, it's Fallen Leaves is the colourway. It's merino, nylon and sparkle, 400 metres. And it's this beautiful self-striping yarn. And I made up a pattern. So I'll show you the yarn first. Look at the colours. Oh, aren't they lovely? I must admit it was the pink. It was having the pink in there that really
I like
drew
those.
me. Yeah. Some of the colours are quite close. There's like these two sort of burgundy colours here are very close in colour.
Those colours are the colours which I saw when I was out running this morning.
Oh, right. You see, I kind of prefer it if that colour wasn't quite so close, I think.
Yeah.
But it's still lovely. It looks more like a kind of gradient effect, doesn't it? And then I didn't know what colour to put in for the heel, so I dyed up just a sparkle mini, which is obviously the same base, in this beautiful sort of lavender colour. And I just thought, even though you don't see lavender coloured leaves, do you? Sadly. I just thought it was the same kind of tones, and it went with this sort of pinky colour really nicely. And I just made up this pattern. I didn't, in fact, the reason I started it was I was working on a different design idea, and I just couldn't get the pattern to fit in with any ribbing. And I just thought, do you know what, I'm just going to try a 4x4 rib, because that fit beautifully. And I thought, at first I started knitting it thinking this is not going to work.
I was very sceptical.
I was very sceptical about it, and I knit about 6 rows or something, and I just thought this is not going to work, because it didn't seem to be doing the ribby thing, do you know? Rib kind of pulls in. It wasn't doing that at all, and I just thought, oh, this is not going to work, I'm going to rip it out. And I thought, no, I'm not, because 2 reasons. One, I was really enjoying knitting 4x4 rib. I thought this is really nice. You know, you have a little longer stretch of doing each of the stitches. And I thought, I'm going to give it a bit longer. So I think I knit it to about 18 rows. And then when I started doing the pattern, I thought it is sucking in. And as you can see, it does suck in at the top. So it's 4x4. If I pull it out, you can see it's a 4x4 rib. And it's perfectly stretchy enough. Look, I mean, looking at the size of it, that looks perfectly fine to get over your ankles. And then I threw in a pattern which is kind of a bigger, beefed up version of something like a broken rib based on the 4x4. And I really like it. I've surprised myself. I thought this is it's just not going to look right at all. But the more I knit of it, the more I really liked it. And if you look sideways, it's got this kind, I don't know if you can tell, but it's got this kind of floofy, concertina-y thing going on. And it's really pleasant to knit. It's really, really pleasant to knit. So I'm just carrying on. I really like it. I think it's super nice. Super nice.
Shocking.
What?
Coca-Cola advert.
I haven't seen it, have I?
We have.
Have
At
we?
the cinema.
Which one?
Bohemian Rhapsody. Man comes out, stood on the street corner. Have you seen it? Have you seen it? He drives down the street. It's the new Diet Coke. I love drinking this. It's super good.
Oh, it's terrible, the grammar. We just looked at each other and went, are they kidding with this?
Oh.
And it's like bizarre flavours, like mango. Mango Coke.
Use whatever flavours you want, but please use proper English.
Super good. And it's obviously, I think it's done deliberately, isn't it? But
it looks stupid.
we were just like, oh, I can't stand it. Right, yes, so the other thing that I've recently discovered, you know how I now do my pickup differently in the corners? Well, on the other side, so on the second side when you're picking up, I was always still finding that there was a loose stitch, and it's the stitch that's kind of the last stitch on your needle. Do you know, when you've worked your heel flap, it's the last stitch in the body of the sock on that bit of your needle, and it's always loose. And I was knitting a different sock actually, your opal one, and I got to that point and I saw this loose stitch and I went, can I do anything about this? And I did this little thing and it tightened up that stitch and it just looked perfectly. I put a picture up, it's on our Facebook group actually, for our patrons, saw a picture of the actual sock that I was showing where it's super neat. That's going to be a thing now, isn't it?
No, it isn't.
It's super good. So I thought, right, I'll try it on this sock where there's some pearl stitches going on because it's slightly different texture, and it worked again. So, I mean, I will hold it up, and chances are you maybe can't see, but I'd hope you can see just how neat that corner pickup is. I was doing it when I was like early morning knitting one morning. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and as soon as I knew Dan was awake, I ran upstairs and told you, didn't I? Because I was just so... I just needed to tell somebody.
So
that it was all neat and tidy. So the whole sock now is as neat as I could possibly get it. And the thrill of that, I was like, oh my goodness.
And that tutorial will be out the second week in January.
Right, cool.
So patrons, get ready for that.
Cool. Little things like that really, I think, enhance the whole experience for a project for me. And to know now that I can knit a sock and make sure that all my corners are really neat. You know, I really love the umbrella toe that I came up with a few sort of patterns ago. It's just the most perfect sock that I could possibly knit, really, in terms of it being neat and tidy. So I was really thrilled about that. And I'm just really enjoying this sock. And the yarn's lovely. It's beautiful to knit with. Really, really nice. And I think I'm really pleased with how it's looking. So
Cool.
It's my 4x4 sock.
Now then.
I could call it that, couldn't I?
It's time for us to find out who won the skein of yarn, the Bakery Bears hand-dyed yarn from round 2, my round,
Yes.
where I did terribly. I scored 5. There was 2 clips. Did you guess what the movie was?
Did you?
The movie was, of course, well done to all those people who got it right, The Three Amigos.
Yes.
I remember when that came out, I remember seeing a review for it, you know, it's a TV review, seeing the scene where they sing
it's so funny.
Blue Shadows on the Trail.
Yeah.
And I just thought this could be brilliant. Went to see it, absolutely loved it. Soundtrack, just adored that film so much. And the scene that I picked from for the first clip was where Steve Martin is stood on top of a wall trying to get the attention of Martin Short and Chevy Chase. And it just has me in stitches.
It's really funny.
And then I think that the second scene, I can't remember exactly what the second scene was. Was it a singing bush scene? I think it was. It's where they have to do, it was, definitely. It's where they have to do a chant to, I mean, I love the fact that there's a bush stood there singing and they walk up and go, excuse me, are you the singing bush? But yes, somebody won.
Yep.
And that person is Di in California.
Di in California, she was number 28. We had 153 entries, which was amazing. Di was number 28. She's in California, and her Ravelry name is
DISIS 19.
And this is what you've won, Di.
Oh.
It's You won't have seen this colourway. It's different to the last one. I dyed up 2 different colourways. This one I called December Dreams.
Oh, it's
and
lovely.
it's pinks and blues and some grey in there as well. But this is on my MCN, so it's a lovely soft yarn. So Di, get in touch with me. Just give me your full name and address and I will get that sent straight out to you.
And for those of you who weren't successful, panic not. Because
There's another round.
there are two more rounds.
rounds.
This episode, next episode, where you can continue to enter, and maybe next time it will be you. So remember, listen out for those audio clips, and then follow the link in the show notes below.
I chose the movie.
She did. She absolutely did. Kay chose Jaws at the start. She chose this movie today, and I'll be choosing the last movie next time. So Kay chose the movie. That's maybe will help you a little bit. Oh, I don't know. It probably won't. In fact, forget that bit of information. Listen to the audio clips and see if you can guess. It's harder. It's getting harder every time. Because don't you hate those competitions where it's just totally easy?
It's totally easy.
Yeah, and I thought you guys would struggle more with the Three Amigos.
But you didn't.
You didn't,
Yeah.
so we've ramped it up a little bit more. So, enough talk, more action. Time for Kay's final round of Knit or Forfeit. It's 10 questions, and every single one of them is about knitting.
I've not even heard of that one.
These are all genuinely real sheep, but we have 3 lifelines.
I've got a feeling the Black Welsh Mountain looks a bit more horny.
The winner gets to choose anything that the loser has to knit for them. She will!
Oh, you're joking.
We've returned for another exciting round of Knit or Forfeit. Now remember, this is the quiz, as you all know. 10 questions, all about knitting. 3 lifelines, 50-50. Ask the audience, which of course ask Instagram, and phone a friend. Remember, we can opt to go for the answer without hearing the multiple choice answers, and then we get 2 points. You have an opportunity to win. Remember to listen out for those clips, and then look out for the link in the show notes below for the competition to win a beautiful skein of Bakery Bear's hand-dyed yarn. You know the contestant, you haven't seen her yet. First of all, I'll tell you what her score was from her first round. It was 9 out of 10, absolutely phenomenal. How will she do today? Well, the first thing we need to see, and we didn't tell you this before, do you remember how in this competition of Knit or Forfeit, we're also seeing how many knitted garments that we can wear, and the person who wears the most in the event of a tie will get an extra point. Well, you can't wear the same thing twice. So in the first round, Kay cannot wear anything the same in the second round. So what's she wearing? Let's see, because here she is. Yes, now, 9 out of 10, first time. Of course, I have now played my first round. I got 5, which was appalling. And let me just say that I haven't dialed up the questions, but I have allowed certain questions for Kay's final round of Knit or Forfeit, this series, to be inspired by Kay's questions.
Oh, right.
So, a mere inspiration. There's been no adjustment in the difficulty levels.
Okay.
Oh no, there
Please
hasn't.
say so.
There hasn't. Look at these, I love these.
I know, it's Bryony's hat, this actually, I stole it.
I think, is it time that we
Yes.
got on?
Let's get on.
Yes, she's desperate, yes. Please
Just get
start.
on with it because I'm slightly warm.
There's no need for you to be a martyr this time. Use your lifelines.
Right.
Because you only used 1 in round 1, and the chances of me only using
I'm
1.
quite stubborn.
We are all set to begin Kay's final round of Knit or Forfeit. Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
We know the quiz has started because we hear a sound like this.
And now the final crown goes to this case.
And let's get on with the questions. Now then, question 1.
Yes.
As you will recall,
It's a photo question. Come on.
she's got it now. Here we go with question 1. This rare breed sheep has a black body with white extremities. They have few lambing problems. They're excellent milkers. They produce a fleece that is very easy to spin. When spun, the yarn produced has great character, being known specifically for its white campy hairs. It's excellent for blankets. Can you name the sheep?
No, not without the options. It kind of looks like it's obviously got horns. It is a horny one this time. No.
Okay.
I can't name it without the options. You see, I was thinking it looked like that one. Is it a North Ronaldsay where they eat seaweed on the beach? But that one looks like it's in a sort of a green field, and I'm not. I suppose it might be but I think they just wander freely. The ones on North Ronaldsay.
Here we go then.
Okay.
Is it a Castle Milk Morit?
Oh, it might be.
That's a great name, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like that.
It might be.
Is it a Baldwin Welsh Mountain?
Never heard of that one.
Is it a Black Welsh Mountain?
Okay.
Is it a Badger Face Welsh Mountain?
I think there might be a clue in the name. You said that they're a great milker or something. They produce lots of milk. And there's one of the options was Castle Milk Morit. That's got milk in there, isn't it? Why would it be called Castle Milk? I've never heard of a Baldwin Welsh Mountain. I've heard of Black Welsh Mountain, and I've heard of Badger Face Welsh Mountain. It actually does look a bit like a badger, doesn't it? It does look. Its face does look like a badger. Oh no! Well, it's either I'm ruling out the two. But why would you put in two Welsh mountains? You see, when I first heard them, I thought Castle Milk Morit. I think it's a Castle Milk Morit, but now it does look like a face. It's got a face like a badger. Oh gosh, right, let's do 50-50.
Okay, let's do 50-50.
He's going to leave the two Welsh mountains, isn't he?
She's used a lifeline, and I think you used a lifeline on question one last time.
I think I did.
We're left with Castle Milk Morit or Baldwin Welsh Mountain.
You see, my first instinct was that it was a Castle Milk Morit. Oh gosh, right, Castle Milk Morit. Final answer.
You've ruined my next line. Is that your final answer?
I said it quick, so you didn't give me the option of changing my mind.
Well, I've just given you the option.
No.
'Cause I'm nice.
Final answer.
Okay, so this is it, folks. It's her first question of her final round of Knittle Forfeit. Will she go to double figures, 10, or will she remain on 9? Oh no.
Oh no.
It's wrong.
Oh no. Why are you not a Castle Milk Morit?
I'm sorry.
It's a Baldwin Welsh Mountain.
Yes.
I've never heard of that one.
Well, if you look on the Natural Fibre Company
I'm going to
page's
look
website,
in my book.
you'll find lots of information about the Baldwin Welsh Mountain. I found it quite interesting. You see, I thought you would be fooled because I thought you would look at it and you would think, I mean, look at its face.
It looks like a badger.
It's not a badger face.
Where's
That is a badger face.
that? Doesn't look like a badger.
But that is a badger face.
Well, that doesn't look like a badger.
I'm not disputing that fact. Because I thought that
The
might...
milk thing was throwing me.
Yeah, you see, I didn't even realise that. She's cleverer than me. I never even thought of that. Read too much into it.
I know, I clearly did, didn't I?
Well-
Well, that's not a very
Auspicious start.
Is that the word?
Oh, you could absolutely say that. That would sound awfully intelligent. Shall we
In
move
fact,
on?
I couldn't say it. You know.
Are you ready for
wiped
question
that
2?
out. Yes, come on.
This is a question which it hits all my excitable knitting pressure points.
All right.
That sounds weird. Here we go. Question 2. The ancient city of Dura Europos in Syria has often been called the Pompeii of the desert. Held by the Romans and the Parthians at different times, it was finally deserted in 257 AD. The city was quickly covered by shifting sands, preserving much of what the ancient civilizations left behind.
Wow.
What was found by French and American archaeologists in 1933, now held at Yale University, that might interest knitters just a little bit? I'm guessing you might need...
One of Dan's unfinished projects.
Yes. An Anne Budd book.
Yes. They wouldn't, they would do well with an Anne Budd book. No, I'm going to need the answers.
Okay, is it A, a small knit textile fragment dating from 200 to 256 AD? Is it B, a knitted child sock, possibly originating from Egypt? Is it C, 2 short bone needles, possibly from a DPN set? Is it D, a complete knitting pattern written on papyrus?
Oh, well, it can't be D. That's ridiculous. What year?
Well, the city was deserted in 257 AD.
Right. No, it can't be. I can't believe they found a knitting pattern written on papyrus.
By Susan B. Anderson.
That's implying that Susan is very old.
No, I didn't mean that.
No, he did not mean that, Susan, if you're watching. I haven't got a clue. I don't think it's D. Let's rule D out.
Okay.
A pair of knitting needles from a DPN set. I mean, I don't know that it can...
If you look very closely, you could see higher written off.
I can't believe it's that. Right, so I think I've ruled it down to the sock or like the square of knitted fabric. A.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Well, no, clearly not.
Okay, but you're
Well,
going with A.
I'm going to go with A.
It's locked in.
The square of knitted fabric.
Okay, she can't change her answer now. Is she correct? Does she go to 10? Yes, she does!
Well, that was purely guesswork.
Well, it was super. I think it's more than guesswork. The question is, why is this small knit textile fragment so important? Well, it's so important because it's virtually impossible, and you very rarely find anything knitted.
Right. No.
And now the question is, here's the interesting one.
Because it will have just eroded away.
Why, then, do we find lots of nalbinding, which is also from wool?
Because it's very, very dry, isn't it? And it must preserve.
We find nalbinding all over the world.
Right, okay.
So we find nalbinding.
It must be more robust then. I don't know. Or maybe it's what they made it out of. I ain't got a clue. Are you going to
Because
tell us?
nalbinding cannot be ripped out and reused.
Ah, right.
Whereas wool can. And what the ancients used to do is
They used to rip it out and
they'd
use
rip it out
again.
and they'd make something else.
Sounds like Charlene from the Yarniacs. She's
Yeah.
always ripping out garments that she don't wear anymore
Yeah.
and re-knitting them.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. I mean, I think it's an amazing thing.
Nalbinding, you can't rip it back.
How frugal is that? They're like, oh, I don't like that anymore, or it's got a hole in it, or whatever.
Rip it out, reuse it.
Gosh, that's
Brilliant.
amazing.
I know, it's superb, isn't it? So that's one of the most
Brilliant.
important ever finds
Wow.
for knitters. And this all forms part
And
of...
it's at Yale University.
Unfortunately, you can't go see it, but
I
you
was
can
going to say,
see...
is there anybody that works at Yale that could go and
Well,
have a look for us?
There might be. You can see pictures, and in the gold edition of this show, all the notes I found with regards to this piece, including pictures, they're all linked there. Brilliant answer. And you have, for this round, finally got on the board.
And I feel a bit more educated. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, I know.
That's kind.
So you have scored 1 this round and 10 in total.
Right.
Are you ready for question 3?
Yes.
In 2006, the British 7th Armoured Brigade ordered 300 woolen jumpers to be sent to Iraq. Each jumper was hand-finished in a neutral colour, and the Desert Rat insignia was sewn onto the left-hand sleeve. I want one of those
amazing.
jumpers.
That's amazing.
But what type of jumper did they order?
I don't know.
Okay. Would
I
you
wish I
like
did.
some multiple choice answers?
Yes.
Yes. Is it A, an Aran?
Right.
Is it B, a Fair Isle? Is it C, a Raglan? Or is it D, a Gansey?
Oh, you're pinching my Gansey thing. Well, this is the desert, isn't it? I doubt... We've got a lot of desert questions.
And that's funny.
I
It
doubt...
must have been for the night times, because it gets really cold on the nights, doesn't it?
That's just blown my first thought then.
Oh,
you
I'm
are,
helping you.
you are correct. It does get freezing cold in the desert, doesn't it, at night?
What am I doing?
I was thinking it couldn't be like an Aran because that's really heavy cables and it's the desert, but now he said that, I wonder if it was for like nighttime patrol wear. I don't think it'd be a Gansey because that's the fisherman thing, isn't it? And I can't see any reason why they would want it to be a Gansey. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm kind of drawn to a raglan, and the only reason that I'm drawn to a raglan is because the raglan was invented, wasn't it, by a military man?
Lord Raglan.
Because didn't he lose an arm or
He
something?
did, and he wanted to carry on fighting.
Yeah, so that's why the raglan was invented, to accommodate his lack of arm.
Raglan Castle is unbelievably beautiful.
And, you know, that's got the military connection, therefore, hasn't it? I'm just drawn to raglan, so I'm going to go raglan.
Okay. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
You don't want to use a lifeline?
No.
Okay. Is she right?
Is there anybody in the military that actually knows this?
There will be. considering...
There might be somebody out there that's actually got one.
Yes.
Maybe you're a wife of someone out there.
Post a picture. Or a husband.
Or a husband.
Yes. Is she right? She's not!
Oh no! Was it an Aaron?
No, it's a Gansey.
No, it's not a Gansey.
It is a Gansey.
Why would they order a Gansey?
I shall tell you why they'd order a Gansey.
They're not fishermen.
I'll tell you why they'd order a Gansey.
Why?
Because the Gansey has a centuries-long link to the military. And why is that?
Does it?
Because Ganseys were worn at the Battle of Waterloo. So Ganseys are considered really sort of sacred by the military.
I didn't know that. When you said neutral colour, you see, I'm thinking it was a pale colour because it's the desert.
Yeah.
I wonder if they were navy blue or if they were like a desert colour.
No, well, it didn't say it said a neutral colour.
See, I wouldn't consider navy blue a neutral.
It's not gonna be navy blue. I bet you it was probably
Desert
like
colour.
a deserty colour.
That's what I was thinking,
Yeah.
and that's why I thought as well it can't be a Gansey because Ganseys traditionally are always sort of that dark colour. But obviously it's a desert version of that. They'd be beautiful actually. Actually, the pattern would show up much better on a pale colour than the dark blue, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I love though as well, I love the fact that they wanted to order, traditional proper Ganseys because that's what was worn at Waterloo.
That's
that would
brilliant.
bring them good luck.
That's brilliant. I love traditions like
Yeah.
that. I think
And,
it's what makes us.
I would feel good pulling that on. You would feel good pulling that on.
you
You'd
would,
think,
you would.
they wore this at Waterloo, so it's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Sadly, it wasn't good enough for you because you got it wrong.
Got it completely and utterly wrong.
Are you ready for question 4?
Yes, I'm ready.
Estonian lace is a knitted fabric that features bumps, flowers and stars. What are the bumps within the fabric commonly called? She knows.
I might know.
Well, you have an interesting decision to make, young lady. Do you go for it?
I might know.
If you go for 2 and you're wrong, you don't get any points.
Yeah. But then if you say this is one of the answers, I'm going to kick myself, aren't I? I think it might be a noop, or I'm not a noop. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Oh no, I don't know if I can risk it. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Maybe that's not a bobble. No, I'm not going to guess it. I'm going to hear the answers.
So, is it A, a hapsalu? Is it B, a rapla? Is it C, a tapa? Or is it D, a noop?
Oh! Well, shall I go for a noop? Look, you all...
I thought you went before we started.
You were all shouting at the screen, Kay, it is that, weren't you? Right, it's a noop. It's D or 4 or whatever you've called it.
Is she correct? Yes, she is! Woohoo! How funny would it have been if you were wrong?
Well, I've never heard of the other 3, so it would have been a complete guess if it hadn't have been a noop.
She is correct. Hapsalu is something to do with Estonian lace.
Sounds like a posh salad.
And I didn't know what it was, but I can't remember now what it was.
Right, and the other 2 you made up?
No, they're towns in Estonia.
Right. Brilliant.
I didn't make those up.
Right.
And I think Hapsalu is a town in Estonia, and I think that might be where there is a museum where you can go in and look around and see everything about Estonian lace.
It's beautiful.
Are you ready for the next question?
I'm ready. Gosh,
Okay.
This is exhausting.
It is another
like I
picture
need a-
question. This Hollywood actress,
Oh.
famous for her roles in 27 Dresses and Knocked Up, has stated many times she'd love to open up a yarn store. But can you name her?
I kind of recognise her with, if you take the glasses off her. Right, let's see the options.
Okay. Is it A, Demi Lovato? Is it B, Kristen Ritter? Is it C, Dakota Fanning? Or is it D, Katherine Heigl?
Well, I haven't heard of the first 2.
Right.
I've heard of Dakota Fanning. I'm drawn to Katherine Heigl. I feel like I've seen her in something.
You have.
Right.
We've seen films with her in.
You're not going to tell me which films, are you?
No.
That wouldn't help me anyway, I don't think.
She wouldn't remember.
I'm not obviously certain at all, but I'm going to go with Katherine Heigl.
Is your final answer?
Yeah.
You don't want to use any left letters?
No.
So that's now locked in. Kay has
She
said,
looks like a Catherine to me.
he's Katherine Heigl, should I say, the Hollywood actress, famous for her roles in 27 Dresses and Knocked Up, and has she stated many times she'd love to work in a yarn store? Yes, she
Oh, yay!
She's correct.
Thank you, Catherine. Catherine, open a yarn store, please. That would be so funny.
So, that's it.
Yay!
It's time for question 6.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. The oldest item in your queue on Ravelry is the Pocket Ted.
Oh, yeah.
By Frankie Brown.
Yeah, it's really cute. I keep thinking I'm going to knit that.
You listed that in 2013.
Right.
But what was the next oldest stuffy in your queue?
The next oldest stuffy
Yes.
in my queue.
Listed just a few days after that.
Right, okay. Don't know.
Okay. Is it A, Henry's Bunny by Sarah Elizabeth Kellner? Is it B, Yoda by Lucy Collin? Is it C, Tiny Turtle by Anna
Yeah, you don't need to say it. I know who you mean.
I'm sorry. Is it Acorn the Baby Elf by Rachel Borello Carroll?
I know that Henry Bunny is in the queue. It's really sweet. I've wanted to knit that for ages. I don't even remember queuing Acorn the Baby Elf. I'm quite intrigued as to what that looks like because I can't even remember queuing it. I'm terrible. I queue things just because I like them. Not necessarily that I'll ever, at that moment, I've got no thoughts to knit it, but I'll think, oh, that's really nice, I'll queue it. And I think that's not how you're meant to use a queue. You see, Henry Bunny, I think he's more recent. I queued that. I really like it, but I think that's more recent. So I'm going to rule that one out. I'm going to go with the Tiny Turtle. Tiny Turtle. Let's go Tiny Turtle.
Is your final answer?
Yes.
Okay. Is she right? So far, we've had 5 questions. Kay's got 3 of them correct. She's got 2 of them wrong. It's question 6. Is she moving on to 4? You're going to have to come back later to find out. Oh, yes. So we will see you later on in the show and we'll find out if Kay's right, if she's wrong. She'll find out if she should have used that lifeline. Were you listening out at the start for your first clue with regards to the winning of the Baker Bears yarn? I hope you were. Here it is again.
And now the final crown goes to this kid.
And we will see you later on in the show when we will put Kay out of her misery and we'll see.
Everybody's going to go and check my queue now, aren't you?
We'll see if she moves on to 4. Thank you so much for watching and we'll see you later for more. How the mighty have fallen. Oh yes. And I don't think there can be no accusations of me producing harder questions because I followed exactly the same format.
It's like a Greek tragedy.
As round 1. How will this round end? Who knows? My goodness, I want to go to Dura Europos. He sounds like a washing up fabric conditioner or something.
It does, doesn't it?
But what an amazing sounding place. And that knitted fragment, oh my goodness. When I found that, it is all, I'm still researching and I'm continuing to research and we will at some point produce a history of knitting show. The problem is the subject is so deep that I could work on it full time. But that's one of the things, and I could actually, because it's so interesting, because everything seems to be linked to humanity and the growth of humanity.
That's true.
And you know, that for me just shows you what an amazing thing we all do. But yes, tune in later on in the show and we will find out.
To see whether the tragedy continues.
Yeah, let's see what she finishes on.
Do I pick it back up?
Does she pick it back up? And what will be my target score for the final instalment of Knittle Forfeit next episode when we find out who wins and we also find out who's knitting what.
Who's knitting what?
Oh yes, the selections are in process as we speak.
Yes.
What do you mean, oh yes? Folks, I think it's time for us to find out because there's some very exciting things here. So for us to find out, Kay Jones, what's off your needles?
I do have a few little things.
So do I.
The first thing I just wanted to let you know was that the hat pattern, or the hat that I showed you last week, that I knit up into a little design, is now available on Ravelry as a free pattern. So it's the Autumn Snow, and you can just go ahead and download that for free and knit yourself up a lovely hat. I used the Blacker Yarns Harvest Hues, and it takes just half a skein to knit one hat. So you can knit 2 hats out of a skein, and I think it's only like £11 a skein. It's brilliant value, so you can whip yourself up a couple of hats, you know, for gifts for Christmas. Pop on a little tassel or a bobble. Add some scrap yarn, some fingering weight scrap yarn. You need just about 10 grams of the contrast, and you've got a couple of lovely hats. So that's the autumn snow. Then the next thing I finished is something that's not knitting. It's not crochet. I was watching the Fruity Knitting podcast recently, and they interviewed a lady who is an expert and has got a little business all around the subject of Dorset buttons. Now, I've seen these before on various podcasts. Didn't really think very much of it, but why it brought my attention this time is because she did a version of them which was a brooch, and I actually finished it this morning. Can I just tell you, I've been working on a really big design project and I finished the knitting of it this morning. But as part of this design project, I thought having one of these brooches to kind of adorn it would be really nice. So I ordered the little kit to make this Dorset button brooch. It's got all the instructions in there as to how to do it, and it's a full kit, so you get everything to make it. And I've made a little brooch. So there's my brooch. It's way from perfect. I found parts of this totally fine to do and other parts baffling to do. I kind of struggled with the instructions quite a lot. I think it's one of those things that if you sat down with someone and they showed you what to do, it would be completely straightforward. And I think when it's down in writing, it's just a little bit more tricky because it's much easier, I think, to accomplish it when you've got a visual to look at. But I did it, I've managed to finish it, and, you know, like I say, it's not perfect at all. My beads keep kind of shifting. But it's very pretty, and it's got a clip on the back. The trickiest thing I found was to sew the brooch attachment, the pin, onto the back. You know, the instructions just said to sew it on. But the problem is there's not a lot there to anchor it, because you've got like this woven patch on the back, which is the reverse of this kind of weaving that you do here. So it's just like this patch of woven yarn, and it's very tricky. I found, you know, this is not very secure at all, and I just worry whether it's going to take the weight of the thing that I want to pin it onto. So I'm not even certain at this stage as to whether it will work for what I want it for.
But it was just an adornment anyway, so
yeah,
I mean,
and it was
make any
fun.
difference.
It was fun to do, and it's nice to do something different, isn't it? And the yarn's really pretty. I think it's a hand-dyed yarn, but I don't know where it's from or anything. Really nice. The lady's name is Tanya Ashton Jones. She actually lives on the Isle of Skye, which I think is amazing, isn't it? That must be so beautiful to live on the Isle of Skye.
Yes.
So it was a fun thing to do. I can't say I'm going to rush and do another one. I didn't fall in love with the process, but I enjoyed doing it. Well, I'm just being honest. I'm glad to have it. So I understand you finished something.
Oh, stop it.
Is this true that you finished something?
Listen to her. She's like, I know she's just smarting because I won't even let her try this on. Because I have decreed that this shall be a Christmas present. And I'm not saying who for.
No.
Just in case that person's watching. But yes. Look at this. It is the finished Samantha. I cast it on between Christmas and New Year. And I will uphold that I've done well, because I only knit one jumper last year. I only knit the Irish coffee last year.
Okay.
And I cast that off probably around about the same time.
Right.
And I'm 3/4 of the way through the Solya.
Through the Solya, yeah.
And that's the reason why I've decided to give this as a Christmas gift, because the Solya is, you know, who knows how long the Colorwork will take, but I would hope I'll have it done before the end of the year. And that's okay. So I decided that it would be nice to give this as a
Christmas
present. But yes, there is the front. I've enjoyed every moment of this.
It's washed and blocked. It took about a week to dry.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it took a long time to dry, you know, and I soaked it in I blocked it in the bath. I put it because it's so big it wouldn't fit in the sink. So I blocked it in the bath. I left it to soak for about an hour. I gave it a really long soak in some wool wash. Rolled it up in a towel as you do, stamped on it, and then just laid it out on a towel to dry, and it just took forever.
It looks great.
Yeah, it looks really good.
It really does. I love the sleeves.
Yeah. I think because
look at those beauties.
You need, if you put a hand in, you can kind of see the sleeve a bit better. Lovely.
So yeah, I've really, really, really enjoyed knitting this. I've learnt a lot knitting this. Do we know what I'm knitting next?
No.
Okay. Were we close? I thought
No.
we'd seen something. Oh, okay.
Because Dan likes, as you know, knitting in the round, and he wants me to find another cabled garment that's knit. So it's got to be a jumper, obviously, that's knit in the round. It's just quite a tricky thing to find because there are some beautiful patterns out there that I would very happily wear, but a lot of them are knit flat, and he doesn't want that. So I'm still searching.
Okay.
Like Bonnie Tyler. Was it Bonnie Tyler who was searching for a hero? No.
Holding out for a hero.
No. Who was... What's that song? Searching, looking for love. What's that?
Keep going, keep going.
No, I'm like... Oh, that's
I'll
gonna...
beatbox.
I'm gonna have to look that up now.
I've got no idea what you're
Oh,
singing.
really?
No, not a clue.
Okay, right. That's obviously my era.
Well,
again, now.
clearly it is, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Not that much older than you, honestly.
I know,
it's
I know.
like
I'm sorry.
20 years you're elder or something.
Yes, but look at us, and who would you say is older? And I know you all think it's me. Look, I've had a hard life.
I'm going to say you've had a very traumatic few years. It's obviously showing in your skin.
But to be honest, it's always been the same. Prior to anything.
Yeah, you've
traumatic.
always looked older than me. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I always have. Don't know what that's about. But then again, when my mum left the hospital with me, the nurse said to her...
You were massive.
Yeah, I was. The nurse said to her, just be careful because people are going to think he's older than he is.
And that's just lasted all your life. How big were you?
Big.
You were 11 pounds or something.
Yeah, I was nearly 12 pounds.
No, were you really?
Yeah, definitely. Because I used to say I was 12 pounds. In fact, you need to speak to my mum because
I need to ask you.
I might have been 12 something. I came out ventouse.
Well, I can imagine. These days, I think they would have just whipped you out.
There's still ridges on my head.
Right.
I mean, I'm telling you, that's from the ventouse. I'm certain of it.
Possibly.
Because I don't feel ridges on your head.
My head's quite ridgy though.
Oh, honey.
My head's quite ridgy on one side.
Well, seriously.
I can feel ridges on my head.
I can feel the outline of a plunger.
You now are all examining your skulls, aren't you?
The point is,
ridges.
we're all human.
I remember when you were bald, actually, it was weird because you can see you've got quite a lot of like there's a lump.
Yeah.
Like skin lumpy things. And, you know, when you were bald, I was like, oh, bless. He's got all these little lumps
Pity.
and bumps.
It's great, isn't it?
Look, you're calling me old.
You're calling me lumpy. What else is off your needles?
The other finished thing I've got is actually something that you've never seen. And I'll tell you why you've never seen it.
I'll tell you for why.
Tell you for why.
Because I'm not interested.
I will show you one side of these socks and then I'll show you the other side, and that's why you've never seen them.
Look, mid-row.
I finished a pair of socks. Aren't they sweet? And you look at them now and think, why did she not show us these before? It's just a plain pair of socks. Well, it's not a plain pair of socks.
Aha!
The reason that I hadn't shown you these before is because I thought it was going to be a design. Part of it just wasn't working for me, and it's a minor part, and I'll tell you what it is, but I've got to be 100% happy with something for me to go ahead and use it as a pattern. Actually, the rib on both of these is different, and this is part of why I had an issue. But I've put a little lace panel down the sock. Now, if you look at the rib at the top, oops, I can't do it back to front. Oh, that's weird. Right, I'll hold it like that. I can't do it. Right, here. It doesn't flow into the pattern. It's a 2x2 rib and it doesn't flow into the lace pattern. So I thought, right, I've got to fix that. And the next sock, I thought I fixed it, but then I realised partway through it that I hadn't fixed it at all. I put a 1x1 section, can you see there's a 1x1 section into the lace panel, not realising that there was an odd 1 stitch, one knit stitch here. Didn't like that either. Didn't, you know, that doesn't flow. So I realised that that was wrong, and I was halfway down the sock. So I thought, right, I'll have a third go and I know how to correct it now. So I cast on in a different yarn. This is some yarn that I dyed up. I cast on in a different yarn and I fixed the rib. Can you see now how there isn't a random, hang on, if I do it like that, there isn't a random knit stitch and it flows. But to do that, I had to move the design one stitch over, closer to the heel flap. But by doing that, what happened was, and you're all going to say that's nothing, but it bothers me. It made a little blippy thing. You probably can't see it, but here, there's an untidy stitch on the edge. And it's because it's a bit closer to where you're doing the gusset decreases. Didn't like that. I thought, I can't live with that. And what I could have done is run the lace panel all the way up to the top here. I see designs that are like that quite a lot. And I did think about that and I thought I could do that. I prefer not to, because I do prefer having a rib. I think it kind of borders the whole thing. But I thought, right, I could do that. But by this stage, I just thought, do you know what? I'm not going to go with this, because too many little things were niggling me. The whole problem was that this little panel is an odd number. It's not an even number of stitches. And that's why I was having so much trouble getting it to fit in with the rib, which is obviously an even number. So I decided just to use it, to chalk it up to design experience. But I think it's a good thing just to show you really how a kind of design process can work sometimes, and how sometimes it just doesn't work out. And I really don't like giving in. And this is why I tried, you know, 3 different ways. I don't like giving in. And this panel was so pretty, you know, I thought it was so pretty down the side of the sock. And it's on either side, so that's the right sock and that's the left sock. So it runs down either side of the outside of your leg. And I really enjoyed knitting them. It adds that element of having a little bit of something to do each row, but nothing complicated, and it just keeps you going. So I really loved that, and it was great experience for that kind of a design. But I got a pair of socks out of it, which are perfectly lovely. And even though the ribs don't match, that doesn't bother me. And the yarn that I used is Cascade Heritage Prints, colourways number 50. And I loved using it. And then I put in Cascade Heritage solid colour, and this is butter for the heels, because I thought that picked up with the yellow that's in there. Just thought it looked really nice. So I've got a lovely finished pair of socks, and I've gained a lot of design experience, but not everything works out, and I just find it hard accepting that, I think, sometimes, that you've just got to sort of chalk that up to experience and then move on to create something probably better than that.
Why do you put the design on that side and not on that side?
You could put it on both sides. It's because that's the inside of your leg.
No, don't put it there. Just put it there.
On the inside of your leg. No one can see it.
So why is it then on mugs that people put the design on this side?
Don't start me on that again.
All you people out there who say, oh yes, it should be on this side so I can see it. When you're knitting socks, do you put the design on the inside so only you can see it?
No.
You don't, do you?
It's on the outside.
You put it on the outside.
So everyone else can see it. And that's my argument with mugs.
Excuse me, I think it's my argument with mugs, because I just made it.
None of these are the case, but do you know, like, if I've got mugs that I've got my name on, and it's here looking at me. I suppose if you were left-handed, you'd be absolutely fine.
So there should be two. There should be two then.
There should be a left-handed mug and a right-handed mug. That's what I think as well.
Yes.
Because when I first got that mug, I said to you, I've got a left-handed mug.
Yeah, I know.
And then I think I said that on the podcast, and loads of people...
There must be 50% of the mugs in there have got designs on one side, and I'm staring at it when I drink it.
Yeah, messaged me and said, no, it's so that you can look at the mug.
I know the mug is mine.
I know it's mine. I know what my name is. I want to show other people, look at my lovely mug with my name on. So now I have to drink left-handed out of all those mugs.
Look, enough of this.
It's one of life's great mysteries.
Enough of this. It's time to find out what Kay's final score is as we go back to the exciting conclusion
of Knittle Forfeit Round 3. Welcome back to part 2. Oh yes, the tension is absolutely palpable. We're on question 6. Kay's got 3 out of 5. The question was, the oldest item in your queue on Ravelry is the Pocket Ted by Frankie Brown, but what was the next oldest in your queue? Possible answers were Henry's Bunny, Yoda, Tiny Turtle, or Acorn the Baby Elf. Kay has gone for Tiny Turtle. Was she right? No, she wasn't.
No, I'm not. What is it?
It's Henry's Bunny.
Oh, it's Henry's Bunny.
I totally thought you were going to go with that. 50-50, you're running. You know,
this
use
is
your
tragic.
lifelines.
I don't want to use them.
No, don't be silly now. Come
I'm
on.
stubborn. Maybe I will.
Okay. We're on to question 7.
Okay.
The Arctic muskox thrives in Canada, Alaska, and Greenland.
Yes.
These wonderful animals are closely related to sheep,
Yes.
and they date back to the last ice age.
Yep.
But what is their traditional Inuit name?
Well, I know what the yarn's called that comes from though. The fibre. Maybe that's the name of the actual animal. You see, I didn't guess, did I, for the last one without seeing the answers.
Let me tell you, I had some fun looking up Inuit words.
It's Kiviat, isn't it? Kiviat. And I've never knit with Kiviat, but I've held a skein that was sent to us to use as a prize, and it is the softest thing I have ever felt. I'm just going to guess without seeing the answers.
Okay. You're just going to go for it?
Yes.
In the vain hope to get back a point?
Yes. It's all or nothing.
Okay. So it's locked in?
Right.
Give it, yeah? You sure
No, I'm sure.
Sure,
Look,
okay.
I might as well, hadn't I,
Okay.
really?
So now we will go through what the answers could have been,
Okay.
if I can pronounce them. Is it A, Sikinik? Is it B, or Mingmak? Is it C, Kiviat? Or is it D, Talimat? Kay said C, Kiviat. Is she correct?
Come on, it's got to be right.
She's not.
What?
That's the name of the yarn.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I presume that's why they call it that.
No, that's what they call the yarn that they get from the Omingmak.
Well, that's just not on, isn't it? Why is it called Kiviat then?
It means something like the soft one or something or other.
What can I say?
Disaster.
I'm so sad.
Oh.
What was it called? That's really cute.
Omingmak.
A Mingmak.
But it was cool. I looked up all these different Inuit words.
You understood my thing. You understood why I had to go for that, didn't you?
If only you'd done that on NUP. Let's move on swiftly.
Better do, hadn't we? Because this is like the worst tragedy ever.
So here we go with
Right.
question 8.
Right.
Omigang
Oh gosh, these are really hard.
is a pattern.
It's a Thai meal.
yes. It's a type of noodles. Question 8.
Yes.
Omigang is a pattern published on Ravelry in February 2015, and it's listed in the category of sweater pullovers. It features graduated cables for a mix of delicate curves and textures on one side, keeping to soft twists and rounded edges. The designer states it's their take on the asymmetric cable tunic. But who is the designer?
I have no idea. Can I see the word? Is it possible to see the word?
Of course it is.
Omigang. I've never heard of it. Give me the answers.
Is it A, Erica Knight? Is it B, Thea Coleman?
No.
Is it C, Anna Maltz? Or is it D, Crystal Nyberg?
Right, okay. I don't think it's Thea Coleman, because Thea Coleman is Baby Cocktails, and I think all of her patterns, the names are based on some kind of drink. And I've never heard of that as a cocktail or any kind of drink. So I'm going to rule out Thea Coleman. Anna Maltz, I'm really sorry, I've not heard of Crystal Nyberg. Anna Maltz we obviously know. See, Anna Maltz is more Colorwork, isn't she, I think? You know, I'm not drawn to Anna Maltz, an asymmetric cable tunic. Erica Knight, I see her as more of a traditional pattern type person. She's got a yarn range, hasn't she? I think it's a British yarn range, so I'm presuming she's British. I've no idea.
Use a lifeline.
I don't want to use a lifeline.
This is crazy.
Okay, I could use a lifeline.
I'd ask the audience.
Yeah, let's ask the audience.
So get
I
your...
could just take a picture of that.
You can. So here we go, folks. She's pushed the button.
I'm going to ask the audience.
She's going to ask the audience.
Because people can look it up.
Exactly.
Can't
It's a guarantee. It's a win. You'll get the points. So we will come back to this. We'll just put this one on hold until the end of the round. We'll come back to it, and then Kay will make her answer, and we'll see if it gets her another point. I'm sure it will. Question 9 then.
Question 9.
Ready for question 9?
Yes.
Here we go. Your most hearted project on Ravelry is your Stitch in Time blanket.
Oh,
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Well, it is. Would you believe it?
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, everybody.
But what comes in second?
I don't know.
Okay, so would you like to hear the answers?
Okay.
The answers are A, Sockhead Blue Tit Hat.
Right.
Is it B, Snow White Mouse?
Right.
Is it C, Learn to Knit a Log Cabin Blanket?
Oh, right.
Is it D, Scrappy Sock Yarn Granny Blanket?
I don't think it's going to be the hat. It was a very nice hat. I gave it to Nan Wendy. I think it's going to be one of the blankets. Although, I mean, the Snow White Mouse was a Julie Williams pattern, little cotton rabbits. And I adapted it to look like Snow White for Bryony as a gift. So it was incredibly sweet. I think it's going to be one of the other blankets though. The Crochet Granny Square, which I love that blanket. And then the log cabin is on Bryony's bed. It sits on Bryony's bed. I'm going to go with the Crochet Granny Square blanket.
So that's D.
Was it?
So that's the
Okay.
Scrappy Sock Yarn Granny Blanket.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So you sure?
I'm not sure at all, no.
Is your
but
final answer?
I'm going to go for that, yeah.
Okay. Is she correct? Does she move on to another point? Yes, she does!
Oh, thank goodness.
Let me tell you, the Sockhead Blue Tit Hat, I think, comes in third.
Wow. That's amazing.
Okay, so Kay currently has 4.
Amazing.
We're waiting on
Well
1.
done, me.
So if you get this one right, you'll have tied with me on
Right.
5 on my round.
Right.
That does then mean I have to have... well, to win, I've got to get 10 out of 10.
Oh, really? But I might not get these 2 right.
No. Even if you get this one right, to win, I've got to get 10 out of 10 because you're currently on 4. So if you get this one, that'll be 5.
I've got another one to go back to.
Yeah, I know. That'll mean I have to get everyone right and
really?
answer one without hearing the
Right,
answers.
okay.
But I like a challenge, people.
Right.
I love a
Okay,
challenge.
Well, it's possible, though.
It is possible. Question 10. This jumper was released in February 2017. Inspired by traditional Icelandic lopapeysuur. The sweater is knit seamlessly in the round from the bottom up. Subtle waist shaping, short rows and raglan decreases make for a good fit. The stranded circular yoke is finished with an applied I-cord neckline. DK weight yarn is used for a lightweight yet warm garment. Can you name the designer? And for an extra point, can you name the design?
No to both of those. And the issue I've got is that there's so many of these jumpers, isn't there? Quite rightly, they're beautiful designs, but there's a lot of this type of design
It's
around.
difficult to remember.
So it's difficult to remember one name from another.
Yeah.
It's very nice. You might like to knit this one.
Well, yeah.
Because it's
Well,
got...
no. The question is, would you like to wear this one?
I would like to wear it because it's DK weight,
Hmm.
which you like. It's got a bit of something going on the cuffs. It's bottom up.
What
so
am I knitting the sole you're in?
DK.
Oh, right, okay. I do like it then.
Because you said you might want something that's got a bit of something going on at the beginning, and then obviously you've got all the stocking stitch to get through.
Yeah,
That's
the only
issue.
thing.
But you're not going to,
No, I know.
You're so
I know.
fussy. But the answer is no, I don't know the designer or the extra point thing. The
Okay.
name of the design, not a clue.
Okay, here we go then. Is it A, Isolde Teague?
No,
Is it B, Gudrun Johnston?
possibly.
Is it C, Caitlin Hunter? Or is it D, Jennifer Stengas?
You see, you're drawn to Jennifer Stengas, aren't you? But I don't I know I've looked at quite a few of hers, and I don't recognise that as one of hers. Caitlin Hunter. I know she's done a lot of colour work, but hers tend to be a bit more non-traditional, don't they? Like the Tecumseh was because it was an all-over type thing, wasn't it? You see, Jennifer Staingas, actually, I think she has done that type of I-cord. I think I've seen that on some of her other designs. The applied I-cord neckline. That's really nice, isn't it? I like that. That's a nice way of finishing a jumper. I don't know. It's so confusing. Okay, let's go Jennifer Staingas. I don't know the design. So.
Okay. So is that your final answer?
Yes.
Okay.
I think you might have just put that in there because she's popular with that sort of jumper. But I don't think it's any of the others. Jennifer, I think it's her.
Okay. Oh.
I'm scared.
Oh, don't be scared.
I'm not doing very well.
You are. Okay, so the final answer?
Yes.
Okay, so
yes.
she's gone with D, Jennifer Staingas. I'll tell you now
Yeah.
that the pattern is called the Sigrun.
Right, that doesn't help me any.
And it was designed and released in February 2017 by
Goodwin Johnson. No.
Jennifer Staingas!
Yay! Jennifer, thank you so much for designing that one. You never know with a yoke, do you, a yoke construction? I've never worn a jumper that's got a yoke construction because the increases are all done in the yoke.
Yeah.
So you don't do like normal it's not normal raglan increases. And I've heard quite a few people say that they don't fit them very well. My shoulders, I think, are fairly narrow compared to the rest of my body.
Yeah.
I always have an issue with like things
So
falling
you might
off
be
my
fine.
shoulders. So it might be all right for me.
Yeah.
And it's very pretty.
Isn't it? We have question 8 to go back to.
Right, let me look. Wow, everybody said the same thing and I never would have guessed it. Well, everybody is saying it's Thea Coleman.
Would you like to go with them?
I totally ruled out Thea Coleman. Susie Quilts, Helen Eccles, April Dunnigan, Happiness 71, Lipan J, and Smells and 21. Thank you, all of you lovely people, for telling me it's Thea Coleman. I'm going to blame all of you if it's wrong.
How funny would it be if you went, I'm not going with that answer.
I'll go with Thea Coleman. I've got to go with that, haven't I?
Okay, it's locked in. Is she right? Does she score the grand total of 6, blowing my score completely out of the water? Yes, she does!
So all I'm playing is a drink?
No, don't think it is. So Kay scored in this round 6, and in total she's got 15.
15 out of 20, that is.
Which
that
is,
right?
yeah, because you got 6, you got 9 last time, so it's 15. So it's a superb effort, really. I mean, brilliant. So to win, I need to score 16. No, I don't. No, I've got
16 out
11.
of 10.
To win, I need to score 11. So I need to go for 1 without. Or, it depends on how it pans out, because I could go for 1 or 2 without, and, we'll just see.
Right.
We'll just see how it goes. But if it is a tie, of course, the first stage of deciding who has won is the knitted garments.
Oh, right.
So let's see how many she's got.
I've got a pair of socks.
1,
mitts.
2,
I've got this lovely shawl that Sarah knit me.
3,
I've got a cowl.
4,
And I've got this fantastic scarf that Sarah Hepworth knit me.
5,
It's a handbrake scarf. I love this, Sarah.
and
And the hat.
6.
6.
Woohoo.
Oh, no.
7.
The jumper. 7.
We know the quiz is finished because we hear a sound like this.
$50 back.
And I think you've done superbly well.
Did I?
Yes.
I didn't.
You have. No,
They
if you
were
think about
really hard.
If you think
Everybody,
about
do
it-
you think they were really hard?
Over 2 rounds, you've scored 15, which, if you think
15,
about it, it's
yeah.
7.5 a round.
That's true.
It's well
isn't
above
it?
average.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's done phenomenally well. And oh my goodness, there is the music. So, thank you so much for watching this
Thanks,
final
everyone.
round of Kay's Knittle Forfeit. She now has her total, and I know what I need to beat. You have the opportunity to win another skein of Baker Bear's hand-dyed yarn by identifying this sound and this sound. And to do that, all you need to do is head to the competition link below and just tell us what movie you think those sounds were from. So, thank you so much for watching Knittle Forfeit. We will be back next time when I will absolutely blow Kay out of the water with the best round of Knittle Forfeit I've ever played in my life. We'll see you then.
Thanks, everyone.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Dreadful!
I don't know that it can be a woohoo.
She's given me a chance.
Truly
Oh, yes.
terrible performance.
And no one can say, I say again, no one can say that I dialed up those questions any. I had not. Those questions followed exactly the same format. You just did terribly. But we have a final total. Oh, yes. Kay's score is now written in stone, and it's all about me. All about me. Next time, we shall find out who wins. And, you know, there's many ways that I could win. I could get questions wrong, answer other questions right without hearing the answers, and still win. It's going to be a challenge. The chances are slim, but greater things. Well, I believe in myself. That's all I'm going to say.
Excellent.
I have been revising.
It's possible, isn't it?
It is possible.
It's possible.
It is possible. But I won't lie, I'm getting ready to find out what I'm going to be knitting next year.
I haven't decided yet.
No. Well, get deciding.
Okay.
Not long to go.
No.
Okay, folks, it's time for the Endy Bits.
Endy Bits. Oh, sorry. You normally say something. You normally take the lead on things.
Christingle Mingle.
Christingle Mingle
Yes.
is going like great guns. Yes.
Super good we're doing.
Super good. That's our new thing.
No, it isn't. Because it winds me up.
You made me cough. Yeah, it's going brilliantly well.
You made me cough.
There's tons. Shush. There's tons of finished objects already
You
in
shush
the
me.
FO thread. I'm talking over you now
I do the
because you're
shushing.
just being irrelevant. We've got
Story of my
We've
life.
got shush.
Shush.
We've got some more prizes.
Oh!
I've been sent this beautiful bag and I love this bag. Oh my goodness. It's by a lovely lady called Conchetta. Conchetta has got the Etsy shop that's called Butternut Handmade UK. And she sent us this lovely winter-themed bag, little drawstring bag. Oh, look at the fabric. I love it. Look at the mushrooms. Oh, the mushrooms are so cute. So it's the same on both sides. It's lovely woodland fabric. And it's this gorgeous sage green linen inside. Beautiful drawstring. I don't want to pull because I don't want to ruin the
It's
lovely
gorgeous. That reminds me of
ironed
Endor.
fabric. It does a bit, doesn't it? And it's got a lovely label inside, Butternut Handmade. So thank you so much, Conchetta.
I want to see it.
I love it.
I've decided this is no longer a prize.
No, I want it too. You're not allowed to do that. We can't.
No, I
take
realise that.
prizes.
Well, I realise that. I'm just joking.
It's really nice.
Look at it. Oh, it's
Perfect for a sock.
lovely. Yes.
A wintry sock in there. I just love that fabric, and it's like a heavier weight cotton. So Conchetta, thank you so much. And one lucky person is going to win this bag, and I just think it's adorable. I really want one. So cute. So that was the one extra prize we got.
Lovely.
And then the lovely Kelly Lay sent me a whole bunch of yarn.
Wow.
She said, "Oh, can I send you some
Wow,
things
wow,
for
wow.
prizes for the Christmas knit-along?" I said, "Of course you can." She sent me 3 skeins. Kelly, what are you like? So we've got...
No, hold on. I really can't stay.
Baby, it's cold outside.
I have to go away.
Baby, it's cold outside. Yeah, I'll show you that one first then. Yeah, we've got a skein of Kelly's Baby, it's cold outside on her sparkle base, which is this beautiful blues and greys. It's gorgeous. And then both of these are on MCN. Gorgeous MCN. We've got Old Romance. Oh, beautiful. Gorgeous speckles. And then Rose Garden, which again is beautiful shades of pinks and sort of like a mossy green. Just gorgeous. So 3 skeins we've got there.
Exceptional.
Beautiful prizes. Thank you so much, Kelly. She's so kind to have sent that many. I mean, thank you. It's fantastic. So we've got such an amazing stash of prizes now.
Absolutely.
We're up to about, what's that, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 maybe prizes, something like that.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. So thank you all so much for everybody that's donated prizes. It's just fantastic.
And I take it we'll be drawing for those prizes on our Knitting Horizon show.
January.
Yes.
Yeah, the first show in January.
Yes.
Yeah.
What an amazing
and
show
I think
that's
it's
going
like
to be.
the first week in January, isn't it?
I'm so psyched up about the start of next year, and I'm so happy about this, because normally in previous years on the Bakery Bears it's been a little bit, oh no, we're going into the new year, we've got to wait until new adventures, we've got to wait until Pudding Club, but not this year. Knitting Horizons straight into something that is going to rock my world, so I'm sure it will rock yours too.
I think it's going to be really fun. I think you'll really enjoy it. I hope you'll really enjoy it. I had this idea, like Dan said before, and I said, do you think...
Was it first thing in the morning or was it last thing at night? I just remember getting a text.
I don't remember. You must have been in bed. It must have been early in the morning.
She emailed me a programme proposal. We have a special form.
No, let me tell you.
And I only accept it if it's triple stamped.
Look, let me tell you, one of the advantages for me of waking up at ridiculous times, and this morning was particularly early. I wasn't feeling very well this morning. So I was up before 5 this morning. One thing is it allowed me to finish that huge design project, but then also I tend to have a lot of my ideas for various things very first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because my mind, it's quiet, no one else is up.
Yeah.
It's like the whole world is still asleep.
Yeah, it's best time of the day.
My mind is the clearest. I've not started the day and my mind's sort of bombarded with things. I just find that that's when things sort of creep into my mind.
Yeah.
So whenever that happens, I have to either quickly write the thing down, draw out the thing that I've thought of, or in this case, text Dan, who is still in bed asleep.
It's fine.
And then he wakes up and he's like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. And then an hour later he might say, oh, actually, yeah, I think I thought about that. That's really...
It is. It's just like, oh, let me wake up.
I know, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I don't mind. It's great. It's great. It's brilliant because it's a creative environment, and so there's always exciting things flying around, and we give each other the space to let things grow, and then we can come back and talk about
and
it
say
more.
that idea's rubbish.
Yeah,
which sometimes happens.
She's had a few of those.
I bought a skein of yarn from Nicole C. Mendez, because I wanted to knit Dan a pair of socks in her beautiful yarn, and I've only got one of the skein of yarn at the moment from Nicole, and I could have used that. It's the Avada Kedavra colourway, but I'm saving that one for Bryony because it's very Harry Potterish, isn't it? But then she updated her shop and I saw this colour and I thought this will be perfect for socks for Dan. It's a Christmas colourway called Rudolph, but I don't think it's not knowingly Christmas looking at it. And it's like reds and browns and grey and a cream. And
so red is the nose of Rudolph.
Yeah.
The brown must be the snow. Or the
the brown.
The coal. Let me run with it. The coal, the dirty snow.
I wouldn't have thought so. I would have thought the white is the snow,
What's
the
the
red
brown?
is his nose, and the brown and the grey are the colours of the reindeers.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I would have thought. Anyway.
Yes, you'd be right. I forgot.
So it's Rudolph, and it's on the soft sock again.
I remembered his nose, forgot about the rest of his body.
And I'll use the pale grey for heels and toes look. I think it'll be perfect, if there's any left. Heels probably, toes I probably won't. I'll just carry on with this for the toes. So I'm going to get these cast on, I think, so that I've got them to knit sort of over Christmas. I think that'll be nice.
Superb.
Lovely.
Anything else from you?
No, I think that's me done.
Patron only podcast, Sunday, 2 p.m, Greenwich Mean Time.
This Sunday.
We will be talking Advent Calendar. We'll be talking Christmas special and asking for your help. Tune in to find out what help we need. We will be asking you if you're travelling at Christmas, but remember, if you're watching this, you're not a patron, do comment below because we'd love to know what you're up to this Christmas. So don't miss it. Sunday, 2 p.m, Greenwich Mean Time. In the next 2 weeks, an awful lot's going to happen, isn't it? Because the next time we see you, the Advent Calendar will have begun.
Oh, so it will.
Oh, yes.
Oh, so exciting.
Very, very exciting. So, thank you so much for watching.
Thanks, everybody.
I think we've covered absolutely everything. Climb Every Mountain still continues.
Oh, it does.
And folks, don't worry. When we get to that Knitting Horizons show, that's when we'll be finishing off Climb Every Mountain, and we'll be talking about winners.
And we'll be doing some more prizes and things for that, won't we?
Well, we'll be doing the big prizes for that, won't we?
Yeah.
The big.
I need to open a thread, I think, for the people that have filled their rucksacks.
Okay. Do it.
I need to do that, don't I?
Do it. Cool. So thank you so much for watching. Happy Thanksgiving if you've just celebrated.
Yeah, hope you had a good day, everybody.
If you haven't just celebrated, have a happy day. And time for us to all get rather excited for Christmas. Oh yes. We'll see you soon.
Sitting and knitting, standing key the bakery press. enthusiasm's not quitting for Ben and Kate the Bakery Bears. They'll take you to fabulous places of which their favorites they'll share. You better buy a pattern and get yourself a Bakery Bear. You'll find yourself in a castle while watching the Bakery Bears. It never feels like a hassle to sit and watch the Bakery Bears. What's on your shelf or what's in